So welcome everybody to this Facebook Live. Claire Ashmore and myself are hosting this today, and I really appreciate those of you who are here and those who may watch the video. We decided to do this live a week out from our course because we keep coming across people who are dealing with a lot, parents who are dealing with a lot with their teenagers and teens who are dealing with a lot, both at school and in their everyday life. And so we want to talk a little bit about that and how the course that we're going to be running from next Sunday can help parents and ultimately young people with some really powerful tools to be able to navigate, our schooling and social settings, really. But maybe, Claire, we just want to start out with a little bit a banner about our course. We've just got a little flyer that we can pop up.
Absolutely.
So hopefully everybody can see this all right as well on Facebook. But this is the banner about our course. So it's starting August the 11th and running through till the 15th of September. And it is an online course, but it's live and we facilitate it. So you've got the expertise of two awesome, I might say, dyslexia facilitators, and it's also interactive. So it's back and forth. People have opportunity to really engage and ask questions and try things out. And it's very hands-on. We actually do some really practical things during the course, and you get to go away and practice in between each weekly session. So it's very practical. It's designed by a dyslexic for parents and tutors and supporters, grandparents included, of dyslexic learners. That's probably enough promo stuff right now, and we might finish off with that at the end as well. Thank you, Claire. Talking about self-regulation and self-regulation tools. And I know you said an interesting thing earlier this morning about how the tools that we work with in this course, about the focus tools. Did you want to say more about that?
Yes, I do. A lot of the people who come to me to say the same kind of thing. They say once they have the tools, it's such a relief, and then they've recognized that there's been a build-up of stress. And that build-up kind of means they're holding a lot. And so once they get these focus tools for their sensory perception and so on, it's like this huge exhale. And then they can have, the word calibration came to mind. Every time you use the tools, you're recalibrating your nervous system or your sensory perception. And yeah, calibration, because I feel like the little ones who come to us who are 5 and 6 and 7, they can't see the big picture. They can't see the overview. All they see is that their friends are reading and they are not, or their friends are doing something and they are not, and they don't really know why, and it just turns into an anxiety and a question mark. And we can teach, or we do teach these one or two of these focus tools on our course that you can teach to even, a 7-year-old and 8-year-old, and equally to teenagers and adults. They're very simple and very easy. And that also sets up a conversation about the importance of taking a breath each day, recalibrating, and knowing technically, very simply, how to be calm. As people say, you can never be calm if someone just tells you to just calm down, because if you don't know how to calm down, then you can't. So I think, Rachel, would you agree that the benefit of what we teach here on our course is we give the exact instructions of how to calm down, and it makes all the difference. Yeah.
Yes, and I think that's a really, really good point. If if we think from our own perspective, you know, if I'm like running around the house going, I can't find my keys, and someone tells me, well, just calm down and you'll find them. It's like, you kind of want to go postal at that moment because you're just stressing out about the keys. And so having the tools, the focus tools that we work with in the Dyslexia Support Course is super valuable for parents, for starters, because when we have neurodivergent young people in our lives, there's a lot going on. They're often really high energy. They've got very often short attention spans, and they'll jump from one thing to the other, and their sequence of doing things might not work out with the family's sequence of doing things. So it's a really busy environment. Someone described it the other day as chaotic. I guess it depends on families, but many parents have said to me, you know, it's quite a management challenge. And so just having the focus tool for parents is really super valuable. And actually, we had a participant recently who said it's a game changer in her family, having those focus tools, let alone the work that she does with young people. And then, of course, for our young people, being able to pause and use these focus tools when the stress levels are going up. You know, whether it's stress about a test or an exam, or stress about an interaction that they had with someone in the class that's going to spill out into the break time or playground or whatever, or, you know, stress about, you know, what someone said to them on, you know, TikTok or whatever, or, do you know what I mean? It's like there's so many things coming at young people in general. And with our beautiful neurodivergent learners, there's additional sensory overload happening, and they're sensitive to that. And so being able to focus their energy, focus their attention, and be able to relax and go to sleep. Like every single one of the young people I see has got a sleeping issue, whether it's they can't get to sleep, or they can't, if they wake up, they can't get back to sleep, or they're just not getting enough sleep, like they're up really late and have to get up early and go to school. And so just to help with those things is huge. And then when I think about my background, you know, I worked with incarcerated learners and also learners in our wānanga spaces. And again, I would see young people who just had not learned that sort of self-regulation skills, right? And so they would easily flip into some kind of reaction, which when that becomes a habit, when they're stressed, then it can spill out beyond them and start impacting others around them. And that's when those young people start to get, you know, excluded in some way from their peer group or their school or their community in some way. And it's one of my commitments in doing this work is to end that cycle of that dysregulation, winding people up in trouble when it doesn't need to. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like,
so maybe we can show that next diagram we've got.
Yeah, you've got a great infographic that really talks about that, and it's beautiful.
Because yes, as you were saying, Rachel, symptoms kind of turn into some kind of behavior issues, and the behavior doesn't necessarily need to be that, you know, big reactive behavior. It's often that quiet behavior, like they go quiet, sit at the back of the room, shut down, and their energy drops. So behavior can turn up in many different ways. And that's when, as you said, Rachel, the self-regulation issues start, because sleeping is difficult, staying awake or being awake at 3 o'clock in the morning, and how the tools can also help with the support people as well, because they can use them. So rather than the situation escalating them, they can co-regulate with their child or learner, and it just keeps everything calmer and yeah. So I think that's the first sort of 3 orange rectangles there. Would you like to talk about Rachel, the next one, which is sort of how, of course, we won't go into too much detail here because we're just doing a live about what we're going to do, but perhaps talk about how we address the root cause of these issues of our learners in our course.
Yes, so what we're interested in is understanding what causes confusion. So there's a famous quote by Ron Davis, who created the Davis method upon which this dyslexia support course is based on his work. And he says that dyslexia, sorry, I've got it flipped around the wrong way. Dyslexia doesn't cause confusion, but confusion causes dyslexia. And what we're interested in is removing those root causes of that confusion or addressing them and helping the person be able to come back to a state of clarity, if you like, that their perception of the world is accurate. Because when what we're perceiving with our brain is exactly what our eyes are seeing and our ears are hearing, so accurate perception of the world, then we can deal with it more powerfully. But if we have it muddled up and confused, so, you know, often I describe to people the confusion that a dyslexic might experience when they're reading a page of text can be as dramatic as the feeling you have when you step off a merry-go-round and you can't quite tell which way the world's up anymore, and you could feel a bit spinny or even a bit nauseous or something. That is the extremity to which a dyslexic learner, when confronting a page of text, will feel. So it's no wonder that they then experience, you know, that the page goes fuzzy, or, you know, the text jumps around, or they get confused between a D and a B. So what we're interested in is giving people access to being able to address the root causes of that, and then be able to use those focus tools that you talked about before to self-regulate themselves so they don't experience as much confusion. And one of our tutors, 𝗍𝗲 Ashiona in Kenya, has done a beautiful post, a beautiful interview, which I think you posted recently, Claire.
Posted it this morning, yes.
Yeah, about how he's worked with the focus tools to help his young students in rural Kenyan schools learn to focus. Just that has improved their learning ability before we get into some of the other tools that we offer. And that's really encouraging to hear that on a larger scale from you know, a tutor such as 𝗍𝗲 in not perfect conditions, you know, these large classrooms and so forth, that he's able to help his young learners learn to focus so they can learn their language, in their language, 𝗍𝗄𝗎, as well as in English, and improve. And he's seeing improvements in their test results already, which is exciting. And I think when you feel as a learner competent at what you're doing, your confidence in yourself and your capacities increases as well. I'm a big proponent of competence first, and then the confidence will naturally grow and blossom. And that adds obviously to our self-esteem. If we can be walking around the planet going, yep, I know how to deal with confusion and learning when it comes to me, I can succeed, you know, and I can do the things I really want to do, naturally your confidence in yourself and your belief in yourself strengthens. Yeah. Yeah. And also doing it with the way your brain is designed. I was talking to someone recently about, or actually this morning on a call, and we were talking about how, you know, neurodivergent people have these extraordinary brains, and they're different perhaps from neurotypical brains upon which our education system is primarily designed to serve. But, you know, we've got 20 to maybe 30 or 40% of the population have some degree of neurodivergence in their brain. And, you know, it's really amazing, like our architects, our designers, our artists, our top elite athletes, many of them have acknowledged that they are dyslexic or they have some other neurodiversity. And the challenge is when that amazing brain goes to interface with an education system that is not designed to work for that type of brain. it's a more of a words based. And we talk a bit about this in the course as well, the difference between a word thinker or a sound and word thinker and a picture thinker. And so many neurodivergent young people, many neurodivergent people are more picture thinkers. They predominantly think in pictures. And our education system is primarily designed for the word and sound thinkers. And it works for them, and it's great. It's just that gap, right? And so I was talking about, it really is not that there's anything wrong with the neurodivergent brain. In fact, it's amazing. It's just a glitch in the interface between that and the way writing and maths and so forth is being taught for a long time.
Mm. And I think too, you know, like, it's what you're saying is the key point, because the way we work is incredibly strength-based, authentically strength-based, because those people who are picture thinkers, who are the architects, the engineers, the builders, the hands-on people too, that they discover when they start working with the Davis methods, that not only do they recognize their skills as theirs, that they can build on and develop and grow, but they can also switch and connect to their word world. And it's possible to do both without getting confused. But you just need to know which world you're in
yes.
at any given time. And we literally, it's such a simple thing to do. And we teach this kind of thing on our course. People often say, but that's so simple. And it's like, I know. So that means that the stress and anxiety goes down because they understand how they work. They understand how their brain and mind works. And it might be different from mums or dads, or it might be the same as granddads or nanas, you know. It often comes through the family generationally. And I know here, and Rachel too, it's lovely to have families sitting down and telling the stories about them. And they say, oh, you're just like me when I was a kid. And it kind of eases that sort of generational acknowledgement, eases the anxiety and as well. And it just makes it a really interesting journey for life, rather than I don't fit in journey for life.
Exactly.
You do fit in, and every brain is meant to be here.
Yeah. And it acknowledges those strengths. And I think, you know, to speak to the last three pieces of this wonderful infographic that you've got here, you know, we end up with you know, those symptoms, those dyslexic symptoms just naturally falling away, not trying to get rid of them, just they're no longer needed as a structure. And young people are clear-minded both at school and at home. You don't have them coming home and, you know, throwing their bag at the wall because they're so frustrated at school.
Yes.
And they're basically, I always say the goal of our work is happy, calm learners, right? Because happy, calm learners succeed.
Yes.
And they succeed not just at school, but in life. Speaking back to what I said earlier about, you know, people getting excluded from parts of our society. So I think it would be good. So we talked a lot about these tools. It would be good to perhaps talk a little bit about some of the, what I call the bog standard reading methods that we work with in the course. So we are really interested in two kind of sets of words. So typically with dyslexia.
Shall I put the next slide on?
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Typically with dyslexia, what we find is that the parents will say, I don't understand. I don't get it. Why can he read words like Tyrannosaurus, but he gets stuck on words like if? And the answer is that it's the Tyrannosaurus type words, those big words have graphics built into them, if you like. You know, if you say the word Tyrannosaurus, you're going to get something a bit like what's on the screen in your brain. Or if you say the word horse, you'll get a four-legged animal with a, you know, a hairy tail and a mane. It just comes naturally. You don't have to work at it. With words like if, there's no natural picture. So I ask this of almost all my clients, you know, if I say the word if, what do you get? And you mostly get shrug shoulders, don't know, maybe they can spell it, but they can't tell me really what it means, and they don't get a picture. And so for picture thinkers, not getting a picture is a real problem, because you end up with a blank in the video, right? And they're watching life as a video, and suddenly there's these blanks every second, third, or fourth word as they're reading. And so what we address in the course is a really clever method that uses our natural picture thinking ability as well as our creativity to start to make models of these tricky words, I call them. We also call them trigger words in our
I'll show us one.
Yeah, and Claire's got, so here we go. It's a great example, by. So Claire, do you want to just walk us through how this model shows the meaning of the word by?
Yes, so this has a double bonus, because this is a homophone, you know, it also sounds like other bys. But this one is, the person is by the tree or next to the tree. And these words traditionally have been taught as spelling or learn by heart or sight words. But the picture thinker, and actually everyone benefits, no matter what kind of thinker you are, really benefits from seeing and engaging with the meaning of these words. They don't have to remember the dictionary definition or the meaning, but once they've played it like this, it kind of, they've engaged with it, it's in there. And then when they read it and see it, they no longer trigger or lose focus when they're reading it. So this one is by or next to the tree. And this one is by, and we've got someone with a fistful of money buying some products, and then buy, and you can use arrows to indicate who's leaving, who's staying, and how these three buys work. It's really quite marvelous, because the children who come to us, we just plod away and play. If a whole school does this, which is we have entire schools having their 5 to 8 year olds play these essential words from the word list, you know, over 2 to 3 years. But we do it much faster here on the intensive track. But, you know, it's just such a lovely way to learn these words. Maybe you'll like to talk about the next words, Rachel, which are the bigger words when you get to the teenagers. Yeah.
So we want to get that foundation of those small basic words in place, because that's the foundation on which our use of language gets built, and our comprehension. And I'm a bit of a fan of comprehension. I think reading without comprehension is like wheat bix without the milk and sugar. It's like, what's the point? You know, and it's very unsatisfying for learners. So we want to get that piece going. And then when we're hitting intermediate and probably more high school, and those NCEA subjects of, you know, biology and chemistry and history, there's lots of advanced terminology, we call it vocabulary in this country, that our teens have to learn. And I tell you, having worked with young learners, it's the bane of their existence. So like, how am I ever going to learn not only how to spell those ology words, but what do they mean, you know? And that's often when a lot of the tantrums at home happen, because they're cramming for tests to pass these tests on. And it's not just spelling them at that age, it's actually they have to demonstrate they know what they mean. And so the tools that we use, we call it symbol mastery, but we literally take a definition, in this case for germinate, a seed or a spore, to begin to grow and put out shoots after a period of dormancy. And you can see here in this beautiful model that Claire's made, adding in the avocado as the authentic element. It's an avocado seed that after a period of time, that dormancy, it begins to send out shoots and then leaves. And this encapsulates that entire definition in one model. And that's what becomes memorable for our neurodivergent learners, whether they're dyslexic or ADHD. It's a picture in their mind that has what's the spelling of the word, and in making the word, they talk about what it means, and then they create the model that shows the meaning. And that's what sticks in people's minds. And the thing about being a picture thinker is your mind works much faster than a word thinker. So if you think about watching a movie, what's going on in your mind is much more nuanced and detailed and complex than if you're reading a page of text. And so it's not like that when person reads the word germinate, that they get like a blow-by-blow account of what the word means. It's just bang. Oh, yep, I know what that means. You know, and then it comes easily for them. So we split the time in the course kind of equally between those focus tools and then looking at the basic words and then these more complex words. And it's been amazing. I had an adult learner with quite dyslexic, I think, from what he said, on the course a year ago. And he mastered the word psychology. And out of that, he had a breakthrough, and he realized that he had been avoiding tertiary study because he didn't know how to deal with those words. And he went on and applied and got into an extension course at UCLA, an online course, and he got an A+ for his final written assignment. And it was out of he could not imagine he would ever do something like that. And now he's confident to step into that kind of level of education. So that's kind of what becomes available, I think, out of this work.
Yes, that was such an awesome feedback from one of our 𝗚𝗏𝗃 participants. 𝗚𝗏𝗃 is short for why Tyrannosaurus, but not if. We kind of started saying it's 𝗚𝗏𝗃, and people sometimes wonder what we're talking about, but now you know. So I think at the end of our 30 minutes, which we've timed it perfectly, Rachel, if you're thinking, or if you're on that 𝗚𝗏𝗃 join the course, maybe we suggest what would you benefit? How would you benefit? What would bring you to this course? What are you dealing with in supporting your child or learners? And because we really do offer 6 sessions jam-packed of really practical, hands-on tools and strategies that you can use straight away. We teach you some, say, in the first session, and then you practice those in between, and then you give feedback on it in the second session a week later. So really, really useful. Rachel, over to you to close off.
So we will put under this recording, we'll put the link to register and so forth. But as I said at the beginning, we're starting next Sunday, 10 a.m. New Zealand time, 8 a.m. Australian time, and a plethora of other times in North America on Saturday. But we'll put all those details in the link below. As I said, 6 sessions from 11th of August to the 15th of September here down under. And in North America, it'll be from Saturday the 10th of August to Saturday the 14th of September. Just gives you an opportunity to really jump in and really experience these tools and work with them with your young people and make a difference to them straight away. So I think, everything else we can put in the show notes if you like. And we look forward to having a number of you who watch this video reach out to us if you've got questions and buts, whatever. We'd love to hear from you, and we'd love to have you in the course. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.